How's it going, people? So in this video I'm just going to kind of recap over my fitness journey so far and then cover some of the goals for next year. So welcome back to another video, people. I'm currently sat in my car and I have my notes with me because I've got a lot to talk about. So this video might be a bit of a long video. It will definitely be in two parts, so strap yourselves in because you'll be here for a while. So before I get into the plans for the year of 2025 with my fitness, I just want to recap briefly about how the year went, and how everything progressed, because we learnt a lot and we progressed a lot, but we also started a bit weird. So we've progressed a lot. We've gotten to know a fair few people within the industry now. We started to make some really cool connections that are already leading to some cool opportunities for 2025, so that's awesome. So I came into 2024 into this fitness journey not knowing a right lot, and I was kind of being handheld a lot by various people. I was like, I'm just going to come into it, I'm just going to lose weight, that's it. And then I quickly learned a lot about how weightlifting is more effective to losing weight than it is to just like walk on a treadmill kind of thing. And then before you know it, your goals change and you're like, I really enjoy weightlifting, and you really love the process of lifting heavy circles. So I came into this like, oh, I'm just going to do a bit of this, bit of that, lose all my fat. And then it was like, hang on a minute, lifting weights is really fun. So that's kind of how it started, really. And then as we progressed into the middle of the year, we started to learn to stand on our own 2 feet a bit. We started to have some knowledge and some experience under our belt. And we were kind of like, okay, I'm starting to feel comfortable now, starting to feel like I can walk into the gym and look at my plan, because we had a plan by that point, and then walk over to what I need to walk over to and do it. Started getting stronger, started to see some physical results, started refining my plan a bit more to tailor it to what I wanted to do, and tailor it more towards exercises that would help me reach the goals that I'm going after currently, still moving into 2025. Refine my diet, started to stick to it more. We were still a bit hit and miss with it, but we started to learn to count calories more, started to be strict more, and it was starting to really kind of work out for us a bit more towards the middle of the year. And as we got towards the end of the year, I was far stronger than I was when I first started. We connected with a ton of people that really helped guide me and give me some solid advice. I can confidently go to the gym now without anybody. It's always nice to go with somebody, but I can confidently go to the gym without needing anybody now, because I know what I'm doing. I don't need that same company, I suppose, because I was like nervous going to the gym when I first started, so I needed somebody to be there with me to show me what to do. Don't need that now. We often go to the gym 5 times a week now, whereas we started out on 3, which is really cool. The discipline base has been built upon. We've got that. I feel like we've really got that integrated into our system now. We've got the discipline kind of ironed out. There can always be more growth added to that. We can always be more disciplined, which I will aim to be in 2025, because that's a transferable skill to a lot of different areas of your life. But the discipline base has been built now. I no longer wake up and think, I'll go tomorrow, I don't really want to go today. It's like, no, I wake up tired, but I go anyway, because I know that when I get there I enjoy it. And I also enjoy the drive to the gym now. I enjoy the stillness and the peace of it. So the discipline is there now for me to go regardless of how I feel. At this point we know what we need to do. We've completed an 8-week program. That was a lot of fun. That really opened my eyes as to maybe having a PT or a coach would be useful, because I had one for 8 weeks, and hopefully we can still have one in 2025 moving forward. So that was an eye-opener to me. That was a really cool experience. I highly recommend doing that. If you want to experience a coach or a PT, then I highly recommend everyone do that at some point in your fitness journey, because I managed to really refine my deadlift because of this PT. Before I was just like, yeah, I'll just go for a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But then by doing the 8-week program, it made me work towards a deadlift PB, which is 150 a kilo for 2 reps now. and we rounded the year off with that. I was like, wow, that's phenomenal, you know. Big personal win for me, that. So that was a bit of the recap of how the year's gone, really, in the gym. So the recap out the way, let's talk about what Phase 2 involves in 2025. Phase 2 will involve some of the goals from this year carrying over because we didn't achieve them, like starting gymnastics, starting trampolining, things like that. So they will be carried on over into 2025. And then a few others which I will go through in category form now. So one of the main goals is fat loss. This is what I've written down on my notes. So fat loss. The main goal is to finally lose all the fat that keeps hanging on. So all of this remnant that I'm still carrying around is a remnant of my old self that does no longer exist. So I'm sick of carrying his weight around because it don't belong to me. So the goal in 2025 is to bin it off. I want abs in 2025. I don't know how possible that is in a year, but we'll try nonetheless. We've built a solid foundation now. So I will do a bit of a physique update probably in 2025 because I don't have time to do it right now, but you can tell that there is a foundation there now. Before there wasn't. So the foundation has been built. Next year is about getting lean and losing all this fat and continuing to get stronger. You know, it's time to, I've put it here, it's time to tackle it times 1,000 and bin it off completely for good. Like, my mindset is now, go away. You know what I mean? Get off me, because you no longer belong to me. That's my mindset going into 2025 now. Food, this is the next one. So make sure all food is counted daily. So at the moment, I'm counting it here and there because I'm forgetting to do it. I'm not in the habit of doing it right now. I mean, it's different over Christmas, but I want to get into the habit of tracking all of my food before I eat it, because then I'll know that I've done it, because part of my issue is forgetting to do it. I've completely overhauled my menu, and you know, it's brought some new foods to my plate, new foods to my menu, and it's brought a freshness and an excitement to it. So I don't think I will look at it anymore and go, oh, we're on that again, are we? You know, it's like, oh no, this is exciting. Because my success relies on making sure I know what I'm eating, you know. I need to make sure that I know what I'm taking in, especially if I'm going for some massive goals, yeah? Time to lock in big time. Time to lock in big time. We tried meal prepping 2 weeks in advance, and that was pure effort. I don't ever want to do that again. It was a good experiment, you know, because I was getting my protein from a place called Muscle Food. Now, the Muscle Food sausages and bacon and all the meat, to be fair, really, really top quality, and it was good stuff. But it meant that I had to meal prep 2 weeks in advance. And in the long run, if I managed to do it, which was a rare occasion, it meant that all I had to do was take my meal out of the freezer the night before and defrost it, and bang, done. However, most of the time I forgot to do it, so it was so much effort that I could not be bothered with. So we tried meal prepping 2 weeks in advance, and it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't, because I was finding that there was more hassle doing it that way than just either doing it like a week at a time or a few days at a time. So we're going to go into next year with a different kind of approach, where we might do a week at a time, or we might only do a couple days at a time, because I think that might be better for me in 2025. Strength. Now, my my goal is just to get as strong as I can possibly get. Now, that's pretty much what I've wrote down here. Get strong, get heckin' strong is what I've wrote, because I really, really want to get strong. You know, it's a personal goal of mine to get really, really strong, because I've always been physically weak, if that makes sense. And that, I'm not trying to be derogatory of myself, by the way. I mean, like, literally, I have had no upper body strength at all in most of my adult life. And it's, you know, it's only now at the back end of the year that my biceps have started growing and I've started to get upper body strength. So I just want to continue that trend. I want to get strong. I want to get really, really strong. There's a lot of people on TikTok at the moment that are benching stupid numbers. You know, they're benching over 200 kilos, and I'm like, I'm coming for your 200 kilos. Do you know what I mean? I want to bench 200 kilos. I want to deadlift 300 kilos. Do you know what I mean? I'm going for stupid strong next year. So towards the back end of this year, we really focused on PBs, and I realised that there was a lot of potential to get strong. So one of my PBs that I hit, that I explained earlier, was 150 kilo deadlift for 2 reps. Now that's quite heavy. You know, it might not be heavy to some people watching this, but to me, that's flipping heavy, bro. You know, considering that I thought 100 kilos was heavy and I could only rep out 100 kilos for one at one point in my life. And now I can rep out 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. And that to me is like, I've seen a growth in strength, you know? So I've set myself some big goals in terms of strength, which we'll cover in a moment. But it has always been a personal goal of mine to get really, really strong. Purely because the place that I used to be in, you know, I used to be a really physically weak person, and I used to be a savagely depressed person. All I do is sleep. So now, as a personal goal to myself, is just go hard or don't bother, you know. Obviously within reason, we'll do it sensibly, but because of where I've come from, now the place that I'm at, I'm like, listen, I just want to do it all, you know. So I'm challenging myself in terms of strength, and we'll see what happens in 2025. I mentioned about doing powerlift comps on TikTok, and some people are like, do it, you want to do it, because they look so much fun. So maybe in 2025 we'll do some competing, who knows. So gym days and sleep we're on now. Gym days, I want 5 days minimum. 5 days minimum. The Saturday night session that I've started to implement in these last couple of months, I've really started to enjoy, so that's staying. I want my 4 days during the week in the morning sessions, and I want my Saturday night session, because that is really enjoyable. You know, that's how I got my deadlift PB on Saturday night, the week before Christmas. Last week I think it was, as of filming this. So that Saturday night session is staying. So I want 5 days minimum at the gym. No excuses. 4 days if there's a valid reason as to why I can't do the Saturday, but 5 days minimum, no excuse. I want between 7 and 8 hours sleep a night, because at the moment I'm not getting that. You know, sometimes I'm going to the gym and I'm benching 100 kilos, benching 110, and I've only had 5 hours sleep the night before, and that's just, it's silly. Let's be honest, it's silly, you know, because I go to the gym fasted because of the time I go in the morning during the week. So I go to the gym on pre-workout and a squares bar, and I go and try and bench 110 on 5 hours sleep. That just simply can't continue into 2025, let's be honest. So my goal is to get between 7 and 8 hours sleep a night. Minimum 7, because I do need that. You know what I mean? I do need that. Steps, and then after that I put steps. You know, steps are so important to your weight loss, and they're so important to your fitness journey. And I struggle with steps, because when I have to do steps, like specifically, I don't like doing it. If I want to go and do steps, I prefer to go and do them on a walk. Excuse me. I prefer to go and do mine on a loop. So, you know, during our, you remember when we every one single person in the world had that 5-year vacation? You know what I'm talking about. Well, that was when I started my weight loss journey, and I used to go up to a place near me and do 10-mile laps of the 2 reservoirs, because it's a beautiful place. So I preferred to get my steps in going there, because I like the view. I don't like doing one on a treadmill. So I've put here, we tried to set steps with Sam. That was the coach I did the 8-week program with, and it worked and it didn't, because I was trying to get them in the gym, because I was still off work at that time. So it meant that I could have a 3-hour session in the morning if I wanted to. I was trying to get them in the gym, and I was trying to get 10k steps before 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, this is so boring. I don't want to spend an hour and a half on a treadmill, bro. So I'm learning with steps that if I'm in my normal routine, then I'll most likely get a big chunk of them. I'll get between 6 and 7 some days at work, 7,000. So if I'm in my normal routine, then to get the extra like 2 to 3k at the end of the day won't be too bad. If I'm not in my normal routine, which is what I haven't been off for the last 5 months, then I don't get them. So moving forward, I need to find a way to do them regardless of my routine. Do you know what I mean? So I need to find a way to fit them around my routine, even if that means I'm on a day off, or even if that means that I'm at a different job. Find a way to get my 10k steps in a day, because I know that they will attribute to my success. And then I've put here a bonus, which is start gymnastics and start learning to do flips and trampolining and whatnot, are the exact words. But I really want to start gymnastics because I've always, you're talking like, I must have been 13, 13 or 14 I think I was. And there was a couple of lads in school that used to be gymnasts, and they used to be able to do flips and front flips, and they used to do like standing somersaults, and they used to jump off walls. And I was like, I want to do that, you know. And if you've watched Singing in the Rain, they do something where they run up a wall and backflip. I've always wanted to do that, right? So you're talking well over 15 years ago. It was 17 years ago now that I've wanted to learn to do front flips and back flips and all that lot. So the bonus goal of 2025 is to finally start doing gymnastics and learning to do flips and trampolining. But that is down as a bonus goal because I need to lose the bulk of this, because I am carrying at the moment, you know what I mean? And that's not going to do me any good if I'm trying to front flip. So I can pretty much only start this if I can prove to myself that I can lose this, you know. And then just to continue the routine of discipline that we started this year and carry that over and grow it, keep doing what we need to do to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So those are the goals for 2025 that are fitness related. So now onto the practical steps of moving towards them. What are we going to do to make moves towards these goals? A coach. Now I mentioned that a little bit ago, that a coach is beneficial in many ways. I'm not saying everybody needs one to help them succeed in their fitness journey. You can do things without coaches because there's plenty of advice out there that you can tailor to yourself. However, having a coach is quite the bonus and quite the benefit. So as of filming this video, as far as I'm aware, I mean, if he watches this, he can comment in the comments, but as far as I'm aware, we have a coach going into 2025, and I will tag his socials down below, because doing that 8-week program with him was mint. So I can't fault him. I know it's a bit of a tough one promoting a coach because everybody knows the best coach, don't they? But from my experience, I can't fault him. You know, he gave us his time for 8 weeks, which not many people would do. And now he wants to continue doing what we started, which is fair. You know, I want my successes to be his successes because he enabled me to get where I am now in a short space of time. So, yeah, so I know I wrote here, there's a ton of coaches out there who all want your business. But let me tell you something that I appreciate with Sam, because that's what his name is. The one thing I appreciate about... The one thing I appreciate... I can't speak today. The one thing I appreciate about his methods is his honesty and his realness. Because he was very raw and very real. He didn't pretend to know everything. He didn't pretend to act like an expert. You know, he was very honest with some of the things. And that's what I appreciated about his methods. So we are going forward into 2025, as far as I'm aware at this time, with a coach, which will be a big help. I don't know, I've already mentioned it, but I wrote here, on a side note, if you get the chance, I recommend you at least try a coach once. You know, I thought I didn't need one, but I tried one for 8 weeks. And because there was a lot of goal setting involved each week, it actually forced me to do better in the gym, because subconsciously I was like, I've got a goal to achieve here. You know, if I don't do this, then I'm going to have to go to Sam and say I didn't do it. So it really helped me focus up, because at that point I wasn't 100% focused. I was about 80% focused on my vision and my goals. But with Sam, it made me focus up 100%. So I recommend you try one at least once. So on to sleep. So yes, it is Christmas 2024. That's what I've wrote here. So I am enjoying my time whilst I've got it, because in a couple of days' time I have to go back to work. Boo! So I'm enjoying my time whilst I have it. But I want to say, as of the second week of January, because the first week is all, we all kind of just like adjust to the new year, don't we? So I will say the second week of January, I want to start drip feeding earlier nights into my system so my body can get used to it and readjust. Because as it stands at the moment, I can't keep carrying on what I'm doing because it's not doing me any good. So we will sort a new sleep schedule out, and then eventually we will make the full move when I've been acclimatized to it. And then hopefully we'll be on full like 7-8 hours a night, which will be good. And then steps, I'm already looking into what my daily schedule will look like. And I've already essentially created a timetable for my days on Notion. If you don't use Notion, I highly recommend it. It's basically a second brain. You can use Notion as a second brain. So I'll be reassessing my schedule that I've created on there, and I'll be seeing where there's gaps where I can do like half an hour steps on the stepper or something, and then see where I can implement a walk kind of thing. And I've realised, one thing I also have realised, and I mentioned this to Sam during the programme, is that I need to be more active on my rest days. I want active rest days, because at the moment I just vegetate, you know what I mean? I do stuff and I don't. So if I've got like a step goal, I won't do the steps on my rest day because I'm like, it's a rest day, what am I doing them for? You know what I mean? So I want an active rest day. And then onto routine. So for the last month, I've already started going to the gym 5 days a week. And like I mentioned earlier, I want to solidify that routine as a definite 5 days a week, because previously it's only been 4. It started out as 3, then it was 4, and then I was like, maybe throw a Saturday night session in there, see what they like, and I really enjoyed them. So definite 5 moving forward, providing I'm not busy with life, of course. So yeah, I've wrote here, my brain at the moment sees my Saturday session as a bonus session, whereas I don't want that to be the case moving forward. I want my Saturday session to be a normal, like, it's day number 5 at the gym, not like, bonus session. So it needs to be a mandatory session. And then on to food. I've got my new menu that I mentioned earlier. I've got my new menu that I mentioned earlier, and I've been trialing that for the last couple of weeks before Christmas, and there's some good food on there. I really enjoyed it. I just need to create a regular shopping list now, because what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to automate the tasks that I find annoying. So working out what ingredients I need for my working out what ingredients I need for my food prep is tedious to me, and I hate doing it. So I want to automate it so that I can just look at my list and go, yeah, it's the same every week, because the one thing I want to be at with my food is that I don't have to think about it, because if I have to think about my food, I tend to not eat on plan. So I want my food to be automated so that I don't have to think about it, and I can just be like, bam, whack that in the microwave, or bam, stick that in the pan, it's done, That's where I want to be at with that, because I know that it will make it so much easier for me to stay on track. Strength and fat loss. The goal is pretty much just learning about when to push myself, and when to push myself to failure, and when to not push myself too hard. Because there was a time where I was pushing myself to get PBs every other week. I'm sure I covered that in a video somewhere. I think it was on TikTok, but I was pushing myself to cover PBs every other week on bench, and I reached a point where it like plateaued, and I was like, I can't do it. I don't know what's going on. And I explained it to a couple of people, and they were like, what on earth are you going for PBs every 2 weeks for? And I was like, when you put it like that, it kind of sounds a bit crazy. So I backed it off, and I was like, okay, that's sound. We made progress after that. So I want to learn when to push myself properly and when not to. The fat loss will come with locking in the diet, and the strength will come if I can. The fat loss will come with locking in the diet, and the strength will come if I can learn to slow down and pace myself at the correct pace. So I put here, I already know what I need to do in this area, so I'm working towards that already, so it's fine. And then the bonus goal is to start gymnastics, but like I covered a bit earlier, I think at this point I need to lose a little bit more fat first before I can do that. I also need to make sure that I keep rehabbing my knee as well, because at the moment we're good We're good with a knee problem. We've had a knee problem all year, pretty much, that stopped me doing leg day until the last couple of months of the year. It was getting to the point where I couldn't weight bear on it, I couldn't walk on it. Excuse me. I couldn't sit properly with it because it was just giving me so much pain. But we're good. The last couple of months, there's been no pain, no sensitivity. I can weight bear, I can do leg day, it's all good. So a lot of next year is going to bank on me continuing to rehab this knee and keep my eye on it to make sure that I don't either permanently blow it out or do continuous damage to it. So that's another goal, is to keep rehabbing the knee and keep my eye on it. So apart from that, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I aim to achieve in terms of fitness next year in 2025. So I'm just looking at my timer on my camera here, and we're already quite long. So I think I will cover my current lift goals in a part 2 of this. It'll be like a little bonus video after this, and then we'll go over things in that. I have a trailer coming out for my YouTube channel, which will be finished soon, and it'll drop next year. It'll hopefully drop in January if I can get my act together with it. And that will drop to start my next phase of content, because that's what we're doing. We're doing a whole new phase of content with this channel, and some of it will be covered in that trailer. A lot of people have inspired me lately, most of them from TikTok, but some of them do have a YouTube channel. I will put them all in the description box below if you want to check them out. I haven't bought this camera that I'm recording this on for it to sit on my shelf, so I aim to use it, and I aim to use it properly. So that trailer will drop next year to mark the start of a new chapter, which I'm really excited about. Apart from that, if you stayed to the end, drop the word gymnastics in the comments so I can tell that you stayed to the end, so I know who the OGs are. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and share it if you really want to do that. And if you want to stick with me through this next phase of content, you know what to do with the big red button down below. Apart from that, I will see you in the next one. Catch you later.